And I went to the bedroom and I found him in the bed.
If you can't tell us who it was that killed your husband, then it must be you.
This is Julene Simcoe. For nearly 5 years, detectives have pursued every lead, every suspect, and every clue they can, all to get answers for one chilling phone call Julene made.
911, need a police fire ambulance. I need help. Somebody shot my husband.
Now as she tries to lie herself out of a murder charge,
Obviously, I didn't shoot Jeremy. I didn't kill my husband.
Julene will realize she made the biggest slip-up of her life, one that will lead her right into a jail cell.
When the emergency room asked you what happened, you saying, I shot my husband. Well, we have that proof.
Mom, I'd like to see it.
Is there any way that you don't think we would have to consider you as the prime suspect?
At 6 a.m. on November 18th, 2009, police in Vermilion, Ohio raced to the home shared by Julene and Jeremy Simcoe when they received this distressing 911 call.
911, need a police fire ambulance. I need help. Okay, tell me your address. Tell me your address. What's going on? Ma'am, listen to me. What is going on? What do you need, police? Ma'am. Somebody shot my husband. Somebody shot your husband?
When police arrived, they discovered 39-year-old Jeremy Simcoe laying on his bedroom floor, deceased from a gunshot wound to the back of the head. His wife of 10 years, Julene, was inconsolable. But given the strangeness of the scene, police immediately found themselves asking if it was because her husband had been killed, or she was afraid that police would uncover that she was behind it. The following footage was provided to us by Lorain County Prosecutor's Office, who conducted an interview with Julene 4 years after her husband was killed. Because by then, all eyes were on her, and you're about to see why.
Do you mind if I call you Julie? Okay. All right. My name is Rick Thomas. I'm an investigator with Lorain County Prosecutor's Office. Prior to that, I was a police officer in North Ridgeville for 32 years, and I ran the Detective Bureau for about 12 years. Dennis Terry's a special investigator that works with the Lorain County Prosecutor's Office as well, and we're going to be doing this today. Before we get started, we have to put a few things on the record, okay?
The detective reads Julene her rights, which seem to annoy her. In fact, as you're about to see, literally everything annoys Julene. I mean, can you blame her? Don't you just hate it when police are trying to solve your husband's murder?
Okay, on Wednesday, November 18th, 2009, at approximately 6 a.m., your husband was found shot through the head in your home in your bedroom. If you could, I'd like you to please recount for us your activities leading up to that event, beginning with the previous 24 hours, going back to Tuesday morning, November 17th, 2009, and then going forward to the time you called 911, and then after that we'll discuss the following days after that event. Okay? So take your time, your own words, if you just recount for us everything that happened.
You, like 24 hours before?
Yeah, when you got up Tuesday morning. How did Tuesday morning start?
I don't remember everything.
Okay, as best you can.
During the day, we worked on the property behind us, worked in the yard, leaves, raking leaves, etc. Yard work in general.
Okay.
We were canning pumpkins the night before. I mean, I don't know specifically. I mean, those, just basically what I told you. I don't know anything specifically. Just we were working in the yard, working on the property behind us, taking stuff to the street for trash pickup. Other than that, there's nothing, really exciting, just normal day-to-day stuff. And then that evening we were canning pumpkins, watching a TV show, discussing, future plans. We went, I don't know what time we went to bed for sure, but when we went to sleep, we usually go sleep together. I believe Jeremy had taken the dogs out, hooked them up before we went up. Went to sleep at some point during the night, the dogs were barking outside, and he had woke up and, yelled out the window at the dogs. And then both went back to sleep. And at another point during the night, I, went up to the third floor and went to sleep up there. And then I woke up to whatever sound that I heard, obviously was a gunshot. I went back down to the second floor because I thought Jeremy was shooting out the window. And I went to the bedroom and I found him in the bed. And I thought I heard some noises out in the hallway. I realized that something was wrong, that I heard some noises out in the hallway, and I picked up a gun out of the drawer and I shot towards the hallway. And then I think I went over and closed at some point. I don't know if it was right after that I went and shut and locked the door to the bedroom. Mm-hmm. And then I went in the bed to help Jeremy, and I called 911.
Okay.
And then I was on the phone with the 911 operator until the police got there.
And what happened then?
After the police got there,
mm-hmm.
I remember them coming into the room. I think there were 2 or 3 of them, and I kind of remember little parts. I don't remember the whole thing,
okay.
But I remember them being in the room. I remember them taking me out of the room, and I remember being in my bathroom at the house. Mm-hmm. I remember there being like a lot of people when I came out of the bedroom. It seemed like there were a ton of people in the house. Mm-hmm. And then, I remember being in the front room of the house, of the second floor. And I remember walking out of the house, them walking me out of the house. I remember seeing bullets in a shoe. I don't know why. It stuck out. There were bullets in a shoe by the back door. And then I remember getting, I think it was a police car. I don't know they took me to the hospital. Mm-hmm. And when I was at the hospital, in the hospital room, they kind of, I don't remember really ever seeing any, staff or anything. I don't remember seeing a doctor or a nurse. Mm-hmm. I remember them at some point asking to call my mom because I realized where I was and that she worked there. And they wouldn't let me out of the room. They wouldn't let me call her. They said I couldn't leave, that I had to stay there, and that they weren't calling her right now. And I remember being questioned by the detective, and them taking some articles of my clothing and doing some tests and stuff on me, mm-hmm. asking questions. And I remember my mom coming in.
Okay.
You want me to keep going?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
I don't really remember too much after that. I remember being at my mom's house and showering because when I got out of the shower I was wearing the wrong clothes when I came downstairs. And then I remember the detective being there, I think 2 times after that, mm-hmm. coming to the house and questioning me. And I remember them being there. I didn't remember everybody that, I know there were family members that came to visit me, but I don't remember who all was there.
When police discovered Jeremy, they also found Julene beside him. She was in her underwear, absolutely drenched in red from her husband's blood. She was so hysterical that she couldn't answer any questions. Due to her shock, she was rushed to a nearby hospital, where, as you'll eventually hear, she made some concerning statements.
How would you describe your relationship with Jeremy?
It was a good relationship. He was the love of my life.
Okay. How long had you been married?
10 years.
And how long did you date before you were married?
Date? Probably 6 months. I'd known him years before.
And how did you know him?
Through a friend.
Okay. You didn't go to school with him or anything like that?
No, he lived close to my parents' house, so.
Okay. All right. How often would you guys have arguments or fights?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know how
I
to.
wouldn't know.
I don't know how to answer that. Did we
Well-
argue? Yeah, everybody argues. How often? I don't know. As often as other people argue.
Okay.
I don't know how you want me to answer that. Or how I'm
I just
supposed
want you to answer it.
that.
I just want you to answer it honestly. I'm just trying to look for some level here of how often you guys would have an argument.
We got along very well.
Okay.
So we didn't argue that often.
When you did argue, did it ever become violent?
I did tell the detective that he did hit me one time.
How long
that was
ago
the
was
only
that?
time, probably when we first got married.
What was that all about?
I don't even remember, to be honest with you.
When you say he hit you, what do you mean by that?
He slapped me in the face,
Okay.
and I hit him back. And that was the end of that.
And that was the end of it.
Yeah.
And since that time, he had never struck you again?
No.
Okay. So, going back to what you said, between 11 and midnight you go to bed, right? Okay. And did anything occur that night that was out of the ordinary from any other night?
Not that I really recall. I do remember the dogs barking, but
What
that
time were the
wasn't.
dogs barking?
I have no idea what time it was, but it's not. I mean, it wasn't that. They barked sometimes. Not anything that would alarm us. There's coyotes. There's raccoons. We have 100 acres behind us.
Okay. Well, let's go back and specifically focus in on between the hours of midnight. Let's assume that was the time you went to bed. And you said it could have been 11 to midnight, but let's assume midnight. Between the hours of midnight and the hours of 6 a.m. when the shooting was discovered, okay? What occurred specifically during that period of time?
We heard the dogs bark at some point. Jeremy got up and yelled out the window at the dogs. Mm-hmm. And then I think I remembered saying that he might have taken another pill then. It wasn't uncommon for him. I think I said I took a sleeping pill or half a sleeping pill and I went upstairs.
That
At
was
some
after
point.
that was before you got in bed, or?
We got into bed
Okay.
to go to sleep.
Right.
At some point the dogs woke us up barking.
Okay.
I think Jeremy was restless. He took another sleeping pill after that.
Okay.
And then at some point, he was snoring, which he did all the time. And I got up and I took, I think I have a sleeping pill, and I went up to the third floor.
Okay,
to
when you
sleep.
say you got up to take a sleeping pill, where did you get the sleeping pill from?
The hallway closet.
On the
I
second
think,
floor or on the
yeah.
first floor?
On the second floor.
On the second floor.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, do you recall what time it was that
No
this
idea
happened?
what time it was.
Okay. And then why did you go to the third floor?
So that I could sleep.
Okay. Is there a bed up there?
There's a couch up there.
A couch. And were you sleeping on the couch? Okay. And when you went upstairs to sleep on that couch, how were you attired?
Same way I was when I went to bed.
You didn't take a robe with you or anything like that?
I don't believe so.
Okay, that's fine. Do you know what time it was when you got to the third floor?
No idea what time it was.
Okay. And did you fall asleep while you're up there?
Yes.
Okay. And what's the next thing you remember after falling asleep on the third floor?
I remember hearing a noise that woke me up.
How can you best describe that noise to me?
It was a noise. I don't really recall what it was. I mean, when something wakes you up, how do you describe it? I don't know. It's something loud that woke me up.
Okay. Were you sleeping soundly? Was it a fitful sleep? Or you?
I have no idea how I was sleeping.
Okay.
I was sleeping with a pillow over my head, which I did quite often.
Okay. And you heard the noise.
Yes.
And what was your first reaction when you heard the noise?
Well, it woke me up, so my first reaction was, what was the noise?
Okay.
But
And what-
obviously,
what
there was a
immediate-
noise that woke me up.
Okay. And what immediately did you do after that?
I imagine I probably sat there a few minutes,
Okay.
and then I went down to the second floor.
Okay. Would you say it was a couple of minutes, several minutes?
Time frame, I have no idea. I mean, I'm sure I sat there a few minutes.
Okay. So a period of time elapsed from the time you heard the noise and you went downstairs.
Yeah.
What caused you to go downstairs?
I assumed Jeremy was awake shooting out the window.
Okay. And
So
what
if
made,
he was awake, then I was going to go downstairs because
Okay.
he was awake and I was awake.
and was that a practice that you guys engaged in frequently?
What's that?
Shooting out the window?
Yes.
Okay. And
Quite
what typically would you
often.
shoot at?
Coyotes, raccoons, groundhogs.
Okay. And that late at night, you weren't concerned about it. I'm assuming this is something you had done previously, correct?
Many times.
Okay. And do you have any idea what time of the morning it was when you heard that noise? No. Okay. But it was, please don't let me put words in your mouth. But as I understand what you're relating to me now, it would have been during the hours of darkness when most people are sleeping, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Early morning.
And wouldn't it be something that would alert neighbors or concern neighbors or annoy neighbors if you were shooting out the window at that time?
We lived in a rural area.
Okay, but
was
didn't you have a
uncommon.
neighbor right across the street?
Yeah.
And,
that would have been towards the back of the house. So.
and within about 100 yards on either side of the house, correct?
She's not going to speculate
I-
as to what a neighbor could hear or not hear, so I don't think that's a fair question.
Julene's lawyer may not think it's a fair question, but I'll answer it anyway. As someone who lives in an even more rural area than she does, her neighbors would be able to hear her. And you know what? They'd be pretty ticked off, and not in a Karen way, just in a common sense way. Because if you're going to be waking your neighbors up at 3 a.m., it better be because their house is on fire. Though, while we're talking about Karens, why don't we take a look at this little clip?
So if you would you indicate for me by circling with the pen what window you typically shot out of?
I don't really think this is north, but that's okay.
This is your bedroom here. And this is the hallway leading to the
So then it
bedroom.
would have been. What do you want me to do here?
I
Where do
want you to
think-
circle
I'm
the
sorry,
window.
but she said something about, you think north is
Well,
incorrect?
the lake is over here, so this would
She
be
thinks
north.
the
this would be
orientation on
south,
the chart is
This
off,
would be
so.
east. This would be west.
Is your house?
Face the lake. So it's. I mean, yeah, maybe like that, but anyways, to me that's
Okay.
that's north. This window. Circle it. You said.
Yeah, if you'd circle the window. And that, okay. All right. There's no window there.
Oh,
See that
sorry. That's a.
that's the window.
Dresser.
Okay.
Let me to X this
All
out.
right. Okay. So
There's
that
a
would be
window
the
here. Window here.
That's a window right
Okay,
there.
so it's
Okay.
this window.
So it'd be that window. Okay.
This window.
All right.
Maybe figure out what a window looks like before correcting police on what direction is north to you. But Julene is a bit too busy digging herself a deeper hole.
So you walked into the bedroom. What's the next thing you do?
I went over to the side. He was facing this way.
Okay, you went over to what would you've referred to as your side of the bed. Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay. All right. I just want to make sure we're clear here. I don't want any misunderstanding. Okay. And what happened next?
I went to wake him up.
Okay. And how did you try to wake him up?
I don't really remember. I mean, to be honest, I just, went to touch him to wake him up.
Do you remember where you touched him at?
I don't have any idea.
Did you say anything to him?
I mean, I'm sure I was, saying something. I don't know what I said. If
Okay.
I said anything.
All right. So you try to wake him up, and what happens next?
I felt that there was like the blood or whatever in the bed.
What did you think that was?
I had no idea.
Okay.
But at that point, I felt, like something obviously wasn't right.
Okay, let's back up a little bit. Okay. What specifically made you think something wasn't right? What exactly did you feel? Describe what you felt. Because it's still dark at this time, right?
Yeah, it's dark.
Okay, it's
I mean,
dark.
it's somewhat dark. It wasn't completely dark in the bedroom.
Okay. Were there any lights on in the bedroom?
There was I think the only light was from a clock light.
Okay. All right. So what exactly, as best you can recall, when you tried to wake him up, did you experience that made you feel something was wrong?
He wasn't responding to me.
Okay.
And then I felt something wet, and then almost immediately heard noise
Okay.
out in the hallway that somewhere. I don't know where it was coming from. I heard noise. And
Okay. All right. You heard a noise. What kind of noise did you hear?
I have no idea what it was, whether it was something falling or somebody moving. There was a definite sound of something
And what area?
outside of the bedroom.
Outside of the bedroom. Can you tell? Same floor, up above you?
I assumed it was out in the hallway. That's what it sounded like to me.
Okay.
I mean, it was close.
Okay. And what did you do then?
I grabbed a gun.
Where did you grab the gun from?
Out of my dresser,
Okay, and where was it at in your dresser?
in the drawer,
Okay, is that normally where that gun is at?
either or. I mean, sometimes it was in his dresser, sometimes it was in mine. We'd been cleaning and
Okay.
stuff was moved around, so
Okay. When were you cleaning?
the days before.
Okay.
We were planning on having somebody come to, what do you call that? Appraise the house.
Okay. You've got the safety off. What is your next action?
I shot towards the doorway.
Okay.
Or, like out of the doorway.
And what were you shooting at?
I was just shooting because I heard noise out there.
Mm-hmm.
So my reaction was just to shoot. I don't know who's out there. There's nobody else in the house. It's Jeremy and I. There should be nobody else in that house.
Okay. All right. And why did you shoot 2 shots?
I don't remember how many shots that I shot.
Okay.
You're saying I shot 2?
All right. How many do you think you shot?
I have no idea. I know I shot the gun.
Okay.
I
But
don't remember
you shot
how
it
many
more than
times.
once, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. Well,
I remember shooting the gun. How many times? I don't remember.
okay. What were you aiming at when you shot?
I was just aiming where I heard the noise.
Okay.
Out towards the hallway.
And what kind of rapid succession were you shooting the gun? Did you shoot, wait a second, shoot again, wait a second? I mean, how did you do
I
that?
imagine I probably just shot. I don't really remember what.
Okay.
I mean, it all happened really quickly. I don't remember how quickly I shot. I imagine
Okay.
if you say I shot 2 times, then I imagine I shot 2 times pretty quickly.
Okay.
I
So-
don't think I shot and waited to see what was going to happen.
All right. What hand did you hold the gun with?
I'm right-handed.
You're right-handed? Okay. Did you take a one-handed stance or a two-handed stance?
I really don't remember.
You don't remember how you shot the gun?
No, I don't really remember. I mean, I remember having the gun in my hand. I probably held it with 2 hands. That's how I
Okay.
would normally hold a gun.
Okay. You've done shooting before, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, what do you do from that point? What's the next thing you did?
I think what I did next was I ran over and shut the bedroom door and locked it.
Okay. And then what did you do?
And then I went back to the bed.
Okay. And then what did you do?
I think I rolled Jeremy over. I noticed there was a lot of blood. I think I put a towel, like, on his head where it was bleeding.
Okay.
I looked for a phone to call, and the phone was usually, I mean, I think the charger was probably over here somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see the phones, and his phone was on his dresser. So I used that phone
Okay.
to call the operator.
Okay. And at any time prior to this, had you turned on an interior light?
At some point when I was in the bed, I turned on the light.
Where's the light switch at there?
It was like directly over towards the foot of the bed. There was, the light switch is on the wall, but we just used the pull thing.
Okay. So you just reached up while you're on the bed and turned on the light?
Yeah.
Okay. And is that how you turn the light off at night? You just reach up and use the pull chain? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So from the time you called 911, how much time elapsed before you got on the bed? Or did you get on the bed first and then
I was
come back
already
and
on
call
the bed.
911? Okay, you took the phone with you.
No.
Okay.
I came and got onto the bed and went to Jeremy, and I have no idea how much time elapsed. And I looked for the phone at some point, which I believe the charger was over here and the
Okay.
phone wasn't there. But his phone was on the dresser. So I grabbed his cell phone and called while I was in the bed with him.
All right. Just so I have this clear in my head, you have shot the gun 2 or more times. Okay. You don't know what you've done with the gun, or you think you took it to the bed with you?
I'm sure I took it to the bed. I don't know if
Okay.
I sat it down or took it in the bed, but I had it with me.
Okay. So let's go right to the point. You fired the shots. You're on the bed. What's the next thing you do?
I was checking on Jeremy in the bed.
Okay. In the dark or in the light?
At some point, I turned the light on.
Okay.
I probably turned it on fairly quickly to see what was going on.
And what did you determine after you turned on? What did you see when you turned on the light?
I saw him laying there, and there was blood everywhere.
So now you're calling the 911 operator, correct? Okay. What transpired during that period of time? What did you do?
I remember pulling him off the bed as she instructed me to do, to get him onto
And how
the
did
floor.
you do that?
I don't know how I grabbed him. I grabbed him and pulled him off the bed over to here.
Okay. All right. Did you set the phone down when you were doing that? Were you holding the phone? Did you have a, I mean, what were you doing at that
I don't
time?
remember where the phone was.
Okay.
I remember being on the phone. I don't know if I set it down or if I was holding it and
Okay.
doing it.
All right. So you set him on the floor, correct?
Yeah.
How much time elapsed from the time you called 911 and you decided to move him onto the floor?
I did it when she told me to.
Okay. All right. And what did you do then?
I was holding a towel behind his head,
Okay.
and I did do CPR. She was instructing me on the phone.
Again, I'm not trying to be insensitive here, but did it appear to you at that time that he was deceased?
I thought I could see his neck moving. But, I mean, I don't know if I was thinking that or not.
Okay. Was there a point prior to the arrival of the police that you believed he was deceased?
I wasn't sure.
Well, I understand you weren't sure. Was there a point that you thought he's gone?
I don't really know. I mean, what I was thinking at that point.
Okay. All right. So you're doing 911 in conjunction with what the operator's telling you. What happens next?
It was a while before the police got there. Mm-hmm. I remember hearing, I don't really recall everything, but I remember hearing them asking to come into the bedroom. Mm-hmm. They were outside the door and the door was locked.
Okay. And what point did you open at? Before they got there or while they were coming up the steps?
I opened it after. They must have been at the door because I heard them there.
And what's the mechanism for locking that door?
I think it was a little...
There were dozens of concerning things that lead investigators noted about the scene. For starters, there were almost no lights turned on in the house. In addition, none of the couple's extensive alarms, which went off if anyone opened any of the doors, windows, or even entered the driveway, had gone off. Their 4 dogs, who were known by neighbors to bark if they so much as heard a leaf move, hadn't let out a peep that night. But it wasn't just the scene that was odd. It was what happened after. Because a few days after Jeremy's murder, Julene called police, stating that someone had broken into her home and attempted to crack open her safe. But there was something odd about the alleged break-in.
Shortly after this event happened, I believe by the police report it says that I think they secured the scene and handed the keys off, I think 6 p.m. on Friday. And I don't know, did you get those keys, Jack?
I don't really remember who got the keys.
Okay.
I think we might, my mom and I might have picked them up right before we met you there.
Probably.
Okay.
I think you picked them up at the Vermilion Police Department.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So at 6 p.m. Friday, the police department have essentially concluded their crime scene processing of the house. So when is the next time that you're at the house?
Whatever day we were there together was the...
Okay.
I don't remember if that was the first time we were there. I don't really remember. I don't remember.
You don't remember the first day you were there? Okay. When was the first time you went to the house and you thought that something was amiss following the shooting?
She's not going to answer any questions regarding anything other than this investigation, because we haven't been provided with information regarding those other investigations, and so I'm not going to have her answer questions about things that we haven't been provided information on.
Okay, Jack, I will tell you that everything I'm asking here was in the reports that we gave you. I mean, I understand and respect what you're saying, but I'm not.
It really doesn't have anything to do with Jeremy Simcoe and his death, and so she's not going to answer any questions about that. That was not the ground rules today. They said we'd have her come in here and answer questions regarding Jeremy's death. She's doing that.
Okay. You understand from our perspective that's tied into the homicide. So we're looking at all angles. We're not taking anything off the table. I just want you to understand where we're coming from.
Have you investigated that at all?
Sure.
Have the police?
Sure, yes. That's been looked into. Yes. In a number of different areas. Okay. All right. So there's no questions regarding the break-ins that you're going to answer, right?
No.
Okay.
When a forensic team looked at the safe, they determined that the scratches and dents that had been inflicted on the safe to make it look like it had been forced open would have actually only been able to have been inflicted if the safe was open at the time, meaning, essentially, someone staged a safe break-in. Poorly. And this was just the beginning of the inconsistencies.
have some issues with regard to a number of inconsistencies that have come up during the period of this investigation. And I understand that there's trauma involved here, that it's a difficult time, but we're left with a feeling that we don't have the complete story. And if we did, we probably would have been beyond this point today, okay? Can you understand what I'm saying? All right. So before we get into the inconsistencies, is there anything about this incident that you haven't told us that you would like to tell us?
No.
Okay. Anything you...
No.
Okay. Anything you think we've missed?
As in?
Any questions that you think I should have asked you that I didn't ask you?
She's not going to speculate as to what you should have asked her.
Okay.
That's your job.
Okay.
She's just going to answer whatever questions you ask her that are proper questions, she will answer.
I have a couple about the gun if you want.
Sure. Yeah.
Julene, when you fired the gun in the bedroom, did you use one or two hands?
I don't remember what I used.
Okay. Normally when you shoot,
I didn't shoot that gun very often. I probably used two hands.
Okay. Just based on what you're telling us, you take the gun with you to the bed, and prior to taking your gun with you, when you checked Jeremy, you also felt something wet. I'm assuming that was blood. Okay. After you shoot, you go to the bed and you take the gun with you, and as you indicated, there was blood everywhere. Did you wipe that gun off in any way? And the reason I ask you that is because there wasn't any blood on that weapon that you fired. I'm assuming that had you had it on your hands or in the bed, there would have been some blood on there, and I didn't know if you had wiped the gun off in any way.
I don't remember wiping it.
Okay.
I don't know why I would have wiped the gun off.
Any idea why there was no blood on the weapon? Okay. There was some time between when you heard the noise and you grabbed the gun, you went to the clock, you moved to the end of the bed, and then you shot several times, okay? At that time, and you probably had time to think about this, if there was somebody in the house, how he got out or how long it took him to get out. The revolver that was used was found on the kitchen floor, okay? The revolver had no blood on it either. The revolver was used a couple of inches away from Jeremy when it was fired. So there would have been a significant amount of blowback on that weapon. But when the gun was found, there was no blood on it. And I was just, was there enough time that someone could have wiped that off?
I have no idea
Okay.
what someone might have done.
Okay. Normally, you had indicated that normally when Jeremy hooked the dogs up, he would lock the doors. I think in a previous statement you had indicated to the police that this was something that he normally did. So when he went out to hook up the dogs, he normally came in and he would lock all the doors. That was kind of like
He was the last one, yeah.
Yeah. There was no fingerprints of Jeremy found on the door to the kitchen, and no DNA that would have indicated that he would have touched that door.
Well, he would have touched the door. That was the only door we used in the house.
I know, and I didn't know whether or not, I don't know how that would have occurred either. Your
guess is as good as mine.
Yeah.
You guys are the experts.
Yeah, well, we'll figure it out.
Unfortunately for Julene, police have already figured it out, because she wasn't particularly subtle about her involvement in the case.
The gun that was used to kill Jeremy, the .357, the one that you guys used at the range for qualification, where was that normally kept?
Normally?
Yes.
I don't know about normally. I believe that gun was in our china cabinet
Okay.
at that time.
All right. Was that a usual place to keep it?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
It would be in there,
Okay.
sometimes not.
All right. Is there any reason that you can think of that a DNA swab of the curio cabinet would only have your DNA on it?
Absolutely not. Nor can I say why the back door it would not have Jeremy's DNA, since that was the door that everybody used to get into the house.
Okay.
I find that to be very strange.
Okay. Let me set out how this appears, okay? And I think you can understand why we have some questions, and we might want to get into that a little bit further. By all accounts, in interviewing Jeremy, in interviewing people that knew you and Jeremy, they described you both as a security-conscious couple, okay? You had an alarm system on your house, and even though the alarm was not being monitored by an alarm company, when the bottom room doors would open, the chime would sound. You had the driveway alarm, which I understand was probably more to stop people from getting bit by the dogs so you could get out to the dogs. Is that an accurate assumption?
About the driveway alarm?
Yeah, why did you have the driveway alarm?
Because sometimes you wouldn't hear people coming in.
Okay. So would you agree with the assertion that others have made that you are a security-conscious couple?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have a security-conscious couple in a very low crime rate area.
I would not call it low crime rate, by the way. Our property had been broken into several times. The neighbors had stuff stolen. This was not the only incident in the neighborhood.
Nationally speaking, if we look at the Vermilion Township, that area, compare it to the uniform crime reports that the FBI establishes, it's a very low crime, and the crime they do have tends not to be violent crime. Okay, prior to this incident, subsequent to this incident, there has never been a homicide committed in the manner that was happened in your home. Okay, in that area. Okay, so we have a security-conscious couple.
Wasn't there some guy that was found, like, right down the road, and you say it's a low crime area? There was somebody that was found murdered in a field. Yes. So for being a low crime area...
Statistically, it's a low crime area. Okay.
She doesn't agree with you.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
From what I experienced.
Julene can tote her experience all she wants, but she wasn't living on Skid Row. She was living in a town with a crime rate nearly 3 times lower than Ohio's average. For every 1,000 people in Vermilion, only 2.5 experience property crime. For violent crime, only 0.19 out of 1,000 people. So, yeah, regardless of what she says, and regardless of the semantics she wants to argue, she was in a low-crime area. Well, except when you consider her house, that is.
So, we'll agree to disagree on whether or not it's a low-crime rate area. Okay. But we have a security-conscious couple. There's only the two of you in the house. You go to bed that night. You have dogs that bark all around your property. You have an alarm system in your driveway. Mm-hmm. You have an alarm system on your house, and I understand it's not being monitored by an alarm company.
It was not even on. We hadn't used that, to be clear.
Okay. Do you understand it was working when BCI
the chimes were working. That had not been turned on for a long time.
Okay.
The actual
when you say the chimes
system
are working, what do you mean?
I mean, when you open the back door or the side door or the basement door, it would give a chime.
Right, but it wasn't sending an alarm to any place.
Just the security system was not.
Sure, just the chimes.
There were motion detectors in the house; those were not on.
Okay, but the chimes on the doors would sound.
Yeah,
and it's only those 4 first floor doors, right? You didn't have any. Did you have any windows hooked up?
No. There was a front door, side door, back door, and basement door, I believe, were all hooked into the chimes.
And that chime's like a 3-tone chime or something like that. And your driveway alarm's kind of a long, annoying blare. Okay, all right. So I've got that right. Okay. So follow me here, if you will. It's the hours of darkness. It's cool weather. We have a security-conscious couple that has camera systems, an alarm, and 4... to the outward observer would look like security dogs surrounding the house. Your husband locks up the door. You go to bed.
He locked up the door.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, is there any reason to believe that the door would not be locked if that's the general habit? Okay. All right. So we can agree that normally the doors were locked and there's no reason to have this door not locked, right? Okay. For whatever reason, we have a couple that has a very active life, by your own admission, previous statements. You don't engage in any conversations that night, yet there are marital accoutrements out and ready and present in the bedroom. And look, you know, there's no judgment here. We're just trying to recall facts, okay? For whatever reason, you remove yourself from the bedroom.
By the way, when I said, I just want to make this clear, it's not like every night, okay? It wasn't like it was 3 times a week. I mean, I wasn't counting. We did often.
I'm just relying on on
days,
statements you made on previous
okay,
interviews.
I'm just letting you know.
Okay,
it wasn't
no, please tell me. I mean, on
it
most
wasn't
days,
like there
what?
was anything going on that caused us to not. We just didn't.
Okay, all right. But I want to be fair to you. Is it more common for you to have relations when you go to bed at night, or is it more uncommon for you not to?
It wasn't always at night.
Okay. During that day, no time on the 17th did you engage in relations, correct? Okay. And that was typical or atypical?
It was nothing different about that than, I mean,
Okay.
we just didn't have. That's all.
All right. So we're left with the officers get there, they check the residence. There is no forced entry into the residence. None whatsoever.
How did they get in?
The back door was open. The screen door was closed, the back door was open. The .357 that was used.
Because I remember them saying something about asking to like knock down the door or something, or gain entry.
Who
But
who did that?
I thought I remember, either I read it somewhere or I remember hearing it on the phone that they had asked if they could, like, I think the 911 operator asked me if they could come into the house, the police, and of course I said yes.
And then the 911 operator asked you if they had permission to break in the door?
I thought that's what I remember
Okay.
hearing.
All right. So the officers get there, and they did in fact try to get into the front door, which was secured, and they kicked it several times and could not gain entry. Okay. And they came around to the back by the kitchen, and the screen door is closed, the other door is open. They find the .357 that was used to shoot Jeremy laying on the floor. Okay. It has 6 rounds in it. 5 are live. 1 has been expended. Okay. The round that shot Jeremy. They come into the house, and as you know, they come upstairs, they find you. So we have a couple, both of them went to bed. Okay. There's no forced entry into the home. No alarms went off. No driveway alarm. All the neighbors were canvassed. Nobody heard any barking dogs. And we're left with 2 people in the house. 1 is dead, 1 is not. Typically, that lends itself to making you the prime suspect. I mean, you can see where I'm coming from here, correct? Okay. Agree with me or not agree with me? I mean, can you see at least the logic of where I'm coming from?
Things are undeniably stacking up here. Julene and Jeremy's obsession with security was so extensive that even their neighbors had noticed, partially because they sometimes set off the alarms themselves. The alarm at the end of their driveway, in particular, would go off if anyone stepped foot in their driveway while it was engaged. Between that and the dogs, their home was a fortress. And while they weren't protecting money, it seems as though they were protecting their privacy, because the things they were doing inside the home were, well, a little 50 shades if you catch my drift.
Okay. All right. Now we add to that some other issues. Is this your writing? Mm-hmm. Okay. You had what could at best be described, and I'm very sorry to bring it up, but I think it bears mentioning here. A very traumatic event happened to you when you were a child. Your father, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay. And that happened for a period of years, correct? Okay. And are you familiar with this document that I have here?
Without reading the whole thing.
I'm in no rush. You can take your time and read the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And whose writing is this here?
Jeremy's.
That's Jeremy's? Okay. And then I think it's the last 4 pages of this. It is your writing, correct? Okay. And this has been referred to by investigators as pertaining to the document agreement and or agreement. And are you familiar with this, Jack?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And would you agree with me that this is somewhat atypical behavior? It's not normal.
I don't know what other relationships people carry on, so.
Okay. All right. How long into the relationship did you guys have what you would call relationship? I mean, is this something that started right away, or?
I don't really remember, like, at what point.
I mean, is this something that is years old, or is this something that is months old?
I have no idea
Okay.
when we put that together.
Okay. You don't have any idea. You don't remember if it was 5 years ago, or 7 years ago, or 2 years ago?
I don't really, I mean,
Okay.
it wasn't something that, like, we just did.
Okay.
I think it was something that we probably had for a while.
Who introduced this into the relationship?
We both did.
Okay. Was there a nexus for this? Was there somebody that had the original idea that said, hey, why don't we do this?
I don't really remember.
Okay.
It was a mutual.
Where did you get the wording for this at?
I have no idea. We don't have
Okay.
wording for it.
Was this ceremony, did you ever conduct this?
There was never a ceremony.
Okay.
It was just role playing, kind of.
Okay. All right. Would you agree that this paints a pretty domineering picture of your husband?
He was a dominant guy.
Okay. And you were comfortable in that relationship? Mm-hmm. Okay. You didn't mind being subservient to him?
This
To
was
the
only,
point.
This was only role playing.
Is only role
For
playing?
your information, just so you know, it wasn't like in a daily relationship. It was like this. This was just role playing, like in the
Okay.
bedroom. It
Well, the
wasn't
reason-
like we went out into the world with this.
There was none of that you were ever forced to do?
No.
Okay. All right. You can understand, I think, why we might ask you those questions given the circumstances we have here.
Sadly, Julene was a victim of her father, who was sentenced to a long prison term for his offenses against her. From the day he was sentenced, she never spoke to her father again until she stood by his bedside as he died. Unfortunately, in a very, very different way, Julene and Jeremy had a contract wherein she was essentially of her husband. Now, we aren't here to kink shame, but there are elements of the contract that are, well, as icky as they are illegal.
Clearly, it was a horrific thing that was done to you by your father. It's horrific, inexcusable. Okay. I'm sure you're aware that during the course of the investigation, subsequent to the search warrants, that we seized the computer equipment, and that computer equipment was examined. When we talk about, there are a number of issues that arise, such as I've laid out for you already, that would tend to make you the prime suspect. Okay. 11 hours before your husband is found dead, someone is on the computer in your house pulling up your father's obituary. Now, why would that be, and who would do that?
Well, first of all, I would like to see that proof of that, because I don't think that ever happened.
Well, we have that proof.
Well, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see what time it was and everything else.
Oh, we can tell you exactly. It happened at 18:57 and 03 seconds on July 17, 2009. And if you go to this URL, this website, you'll pull up exactly this obituary.
You said July 17th?
No. November 7th. I may have said July. November 17th. It's 11 hours before the homicide was called in.
Can we see what was accessed before and after?
Sure.
Let's see.
What is this? That doesn't tell us anything.
This looks as though.
Julene, I can assure you there's no trick here. A computer expert will be willing to testify that that is exactly what that is.
Well, first of all, did you access this?
No.
Okay.
I didn't access it, but I am curious about.
Yeah, we just want to see who was maybe on the computer. Can you tell, Michael?
Well, somebody searched. Looks as though somebody searched Jeremy Simcoe. Looks like someone searched Julie Simcoe.
Somebody,
So it looks like there's a-
so somebody searched Jeremy Simcoe at the same time. Then somebody searched this article. Somebody searched Julie Nick. Now, who's Julie Nick? That's you?
That's my maiden name.
So somebody searched you.
Someone searched Julie Simcoe.
Somebody searched Julie Simcoe.
Somebody searched Judy.
Now, Judy, mom.
All right, getting back to the point. Again, you see that adds to our sense of concern about only 2 people in the house, 11 hours before he's found deceased.
What time would that be? What is 18? Is that
6 o'clock.
It was 3 minutes till 7 p.m., okay? That search is conducted. At 6:06 a.m., you make a call to 911. So roughly 11 hours before your husband is shot, a person that you have a relationship, role play, as you say, someone pulls up the obituary of the very person that had a father-daughter relationship with you. That makes one wonder if there is a nexus here or a tie-in with this. I mean, you can understand how we might be concerned about that.
I can understand. I'm telling you, I am not the one that
Okay.
is using
Is there any
the computer.
reason Jeremy would have done that?
No idea.
Does anybody ever come in your home and use your computers? Mm-hmm. Who does that?
We've had friends use the computers before.
Okay. And did anybody come in your home and use computers at 7 o'clock that night? Okay,
I
so,
believe it was just 2 of us there all
okay,
evening.
all right. So nobody could have done that search except one of you 2 that night, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. We get to the 911 call, okay? You call the 911 operator. She asked you at one point, did he shoot himself? And you answer no. How did you know that he did not shoot himself?
Because he wouldn't shoot himself.
How did you know?
He was my husband.
Okay.
Usually know these things.
Okay. The operator asks you, is there an intruder in the house? And you say yes. How did you know there was an intruder in the house?
The same reason I shot the gun.
You heard it.
Obviously, I didn't shoot Jeremy. I didn't kill my husband. So obviously somebody else was in the house.
Okay.
And they weren't there for any good purposes.
Okay, if we get back to the inconsistencies that we see in this case, all right. We see that you make that immediate statement to 911, he didn't shoot himself, but if you weren't present at the shooting, how would you know that? You say there's an intruder in the house, yeah, you heard a noise is all you heard. Let's go to the kitchen where the gun was found, okay? We find the gun, first of all, in any shooting like that, have you ever shot into a mud hole or anything like that, or shot into the water, shot close to a tree? You ever done any of those things? If you have, you'll notice that you get splashback or blowback onto the weapon, okay? So someone took the time in between the time Jeremy was shot to clean that weapon of any blowback. Here's the really interesting thing. If we assume your theory that there is an intruder in the home, don't you think the intruder would be in a hurry to leave if he heard the shots that you fired?
I would say, yeah.
Okay. But yet this intruder who gained access to the house without setting off the door alarm, without being caught on the camera, without setting off any of the driveway alarm, without making any of the dogs bark, without being noticed by any outside sources, without forcing entry into the home, has made his way into a darkened home, has found a gun on a curio cabinet that bears only your DNA, removes a gun from a holster, goes upstairs to the room where you and Jeremy typically sleep together. That person has to lean across the bed, get within 2 inches of Jeremy's head, pull the trigger, shoot him in the back of the head, taking his life instantaneously. Then, follow me here, please. Then, yes, he was shot in the back of the head. Okay, so follow me now. You see why we have the concerns we have. That person then has to leave there, decides not to search for you at all, isn't worried about you even though they're armed with a gun, goes downstairs, ostensibly knocks over a chair, but the chair is knocked over in such a manner that the robe is laying underneath it, so it wouldn't have made much noise. It would have been a cushioned fall. Takes the time to clean all the blowback off that gun, which is a considerable amount of time, and then doesn't drop it on the floor because we had BCI check for that. He lays the gun on the floor. There is no damage to the floor from the gun. There is no damage to the gun from the floor. So he lays the gun on the floor, then again mysteriously exits the residence through the open back kitchen door, again doesn't set off the driveway alarm, doesn't set off the dogs barking.
And you're assuming how all this happened because you don't know, nor do I know what transpired. You're
what
assuming somebody went out the back door. You're assuming
every other door was
stuff
secured.
too.
No, I'll tell you exactly what I'm doing. I am going where the evidence leads me. I wasn't there. You were there. I'm only going where the evidence in this case leads me.
Too,
But I'm going where the evidence leads. I mean, if there's something that we've missed in the evidence, heaven help us, we want to know that. That's why I said at the very beginning of this, it's important for us to get to the truth on this. We need your help with this. We want to try to solve this. But right now, you have to, is there any way that you don't think we would have to consider you as the prime suspect? We were hoping that you would come in here today and really enlighten us with something. But thus far, all I have is more inconsistencies. We want to help you get resolution here. That's the point of this.
What other suspects have you looked at if you want to get resolution?
We're not going to discuss
Have other
other
people been looked at? Have you investigated this any further?
We
than
have
me?
investigated. Every avenue that's come up has been investigated. Every avenue, everything here is this case. Everything. Those are all reports related to this case.
Did you also look into the break-ins that happened? Because there were a
Ma'am.
number of things with footprints and stuff that were never resolved. And a fingerprint that I remember hearing the detective talk about, whatever became of that.
Julene, everything was looked at. Everything
And you
was
came
looked
up
at.
with nothing.
What have we come up with on this case? What have we come up with the homicide? If you're a reasonable person, where does the evidence point in this case? I'm asking you, put yourself in my shoes.
She's not going to answer that question. I mean, I know what you want her to answer, but she's already told you that she came in here to assist you. If you ask her a question that might be something that she could assist you with, I think she's tried to answer every question. And I mean, I don't care if you have everything in the world laid out on top of this table. It doesn't mean that she killed her husband. She's trying to help you with this investigation, but once it starts getting accusatory, then we're going to have to stop the interview. So if you have some more questions you'd like to ask her, she's willing to answer those. If you're going to try to accuse her or have her tell you, yes, I did this, you're not going to get the answer you want. So you got more questions? If no, then we'll call it a day.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we have a few more.
Okay.
Yeah, there was. We have statements indicating that you maintained a large bowl of Percocet and Vicodin
A what?
in your house.
A what?
Medication.
A
Percocet
bowl?
and Vicodin
No.
in a large bowl. And that statements were that you and Jeremy had offered this.
Like I
to the
said,
guy.
I would like to see who these statements are
Okay,
from.
so
That's crazy.
you're denying it. That's all I wanted to know, one way or another. The
Right, where's this bowl at?
There are also statements indicating that you had told somebody that you and Jeremy had an argument prior to going to bed that night.
No,
I just wanted to make sure that.
we did not have an argument.
Okay. All right. There is also a statement indicating that you had indicated that you, sometime during the night, you had walked down for a glass of water.
No,
Okay.
I never said that.
And then heard a noise in the house.
No.
Okay. In your previous statements, you had indicated that you had brought a weapon from upstairs down to the bedroom. So that statement was wrong.
I didn't state that. That never happened.
Well, that was a
Maybe it was
previous statement.
misinterpreted. That didn't happen.
Okay. Also, you indicated in a previous statement that the automatic weapon that you took from the nightstand was actually in his nightstand, not yours. You indicated that's where it always was.
What are you asking me?
In a previous statement, you indicated when you went to get the automatic weapon that it was in his nightstand.
No, it was in my
Okay.
nightstand.
You indicated after that that that's where it always was.
Well, a lot of times I probably said, I don't know what I said.
Yeah.
It definitely got it from my nightstand.
It's very, I guess there's a lot of ironies here, but for example, in the sleeping pills that he took, you had indicated in a previous statement that he had taken sleeping pills for a long period of time and almost got basically addicted to it. And then he laid off of it because he was addicted to it. On this particular night that,
I stated that?
yes,
To who?
to the police.
Okay.
On this particular night, it just seemed to be coincidental that on the night he got killed, he happened to start taking sleeping pills at that time.
I wouldn't say he just up and started taking them.
Well, that's what you said. I'm not putting words in your mind. I mean, that's just
I
a
don't
previous
recall
statement.
saying anything like that. I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
it
I
was
just.
frequent for him to take pills,
Okay.
so
Okay.
it was not out of the ordinary.
If he didn't take those sleeping pills.
Or to drink. A lot of times he would drink NyQuil
Okay.
to sleep.
Okay. But on this occasion, he took sleeping pills from your statement.
Yeah.
Okay. If he hadn't taken the sleeping pills, and he would have woke up when someone was entering the room, and he would have reached for the automatic weapon, he wouldn't have found it in his nightstand because it would have moved to your nightstand.
It didn't matter which nightstand it was in. I mean,
Why
if
not?
it was in, I mean, I don't know how they want me to answer this.
Well,
It was either in mine or his, so it would have been there.
but wasn't it always kept in his nightstand?
A
Isn't
lot
that
of
what you
times it was
said?
kept in his, sometimes it was kept in mine.
Oh, because that's not a previous statement. You said it was always kept in his, but when you were cleaning, you went into the drawer and there were a lot of papers in there, so you moved the gun into your nightstand. Does that sound right? Do you remember what kind of papers that were in the drawer?
No idea.
Okay, all right. Had he woken up though, because the gun was always kept in his nightstand, he would have found no weapon had he tried to reach for it. It's just. It also seems pretty coincidental on the one night. You indicated in a previous statement that you rarely slept upstairs. But on this particular night, you slept upstairs the same night he got killed. So we have this, on this particular occasion, we have him taking sleeping pills for the first time in a while. We have you going upstairs to sleep, which you rarely do. And you have his automatic weapon, which is no longer in his nightstand, but in yours. I mean, I just find that coincidental. If any one of those circumstances didn't exist, things may have been different. I don't know. I mean, you have any explanation for any of that? No.
Julene wants so desperately to place the blame on everyone else, but in reality, she's the one who told police about the sleeping pills in her 2009 interrogation. And she's the one who made repeated statements to friends and anyone who would listen that she and Jeremy had been fighting. And they had a lot to fight about. Because as police eventually discovered, at the time of Jeremy's murder, both he and Julene were working together to evade taxes by operating two separate financial record books.
So, I mean, I know you think it's a lot of coincidences, but maybe it's not a lot of coincidences.
Well, I'm just going by her previous statement, Jack.
I understand that, but I'm just telling you, if you have a question, ask her a question.
I understand.
She can't answer, don't you think that's a coincidence? That's really not a question. That's really an accusation.
I see.
Like, we got A plus B, so it must be C. She can't answer the A plus B equals C, but she can maybe give you an answer to a question. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I brought her here for, to answer questions, but not to give explanations as to, well, it must be you, and if you can't tell us who it was that killed your husband, then it must be you because of all these coincidences.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
She can't answer that question.
I understand.
So, I believe that her statements are not inconsistent. And I think they're very consistent.
Says her lawyer, who she is literally paying to maintain her innocence.
Julene, do you recall when you were in the emergency room at Community Hospital, when the emergency room asked you what happened, you saying, I shot my husband?
No, I didn't say that because I didn't shoot my husband.
Okay. You're emphatically saying you never
didn't
made
say
that
that.
statement. Okay. Do you recall telling an acquaintance of yours that Jeremy knows who shot him?
No. I mean, I don't recall, and I don't know who you're talking about if you don't tell me, or the conversation.
It was a friend of yours. You know, they'll come. I'm sure if there's a trial, it'll come out at trial. And if it doesn't, if we find something else, I'm not. I don't want to throw her or him under the bus, and that's why we're being a little vague on that. I can tell you, it's not something we're making up. It's something that we have recorded. Say again. I don't know who that is. Okay. Did you ever, do you recall ever, it's very simple, do you recall ever telling anyone that Jeremy knows who shot him?
No.
Do you know if Jeremy knows who shot him?
No.
Okay. All right. Did you recall at the wake telling friends of Jeremy's, I wish I could tell you what really happened?
I don't recall saying that.
Okay. Do you think you made that statement? Okay. I very much thank you for coming in. Do you have any questions of me?
A lot of questions. I'm sure they won't be answered, so.
Probably not in this venue.
No.
Okay. I very much thank you again for coming in.
Julene managed to escape justice until 2017, when finally, 8 years after her husband's murder, a bench trial found her guilty on 1 count of aggravated murder, 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of felonious assault, 1 count of tampering with evidence. In total, Julene landed herself 28 years to life behind bars.